So the intentional need, nutrition, is one that is either absolutely amazing for people, just that topic, or they are absolutely mystified by it. It can be something that is so special and so amazing, but it can only be that way, honestly, if you have really great systems, especially as an autism mom. It's really important to have systems and strategies, and that is what we're about to get into.
Hey there, mamas. Welcome to the Mom Care Coach podcast. And I am your host, Victoria Mattia. I am a certified life and health coach, certified international counselor, and also a homeschooling autism mom and former autism clinic director. I know that you are struggling with holding healthy boundaries around time management, constantly getting less than adequate sleep, and managing deep exhaustion and overwhelm. And you are praying to find a way to have more energy throughout your day. Well, friend, you have come to the right place. In this show, we will talk about how you can guide yourself through a process of self-care strategies that will lead you to the health solutions that you as an autism mom have been searching for, and how providing for your 4 intentional needs, sleep, movement, nutrition, and mindset, can help you avoid burnout. So grab this morning's leftover matcha or pour another cup of your homemade kombucha and pull up a chair, and let's have a chat on how these health solutions can change your life. One more thing, would you like to know more about the online coaching services and health bundles that I offer? If so, please do not hesitate to reach out. My email is mindfulwellnessforautismmoms@gmail.com. Again, mindfulwellnessforautismmoms@gmail.com. And of course, it's also listed in the show notes. Thank you, and I look forward to hearing from you. Now on with our show.
Hello everyone, this is Victoria Mattia, and you are listening to the Mom Care Coach podcast. So if this is your first time listening in today, I am so thankful you are here. You are most welcome. And I hope that you hear some information that can be really inspiring to you. So moving on, our last episode, we started a new series. We are talking all about our 4 intentional needs, and we're breaking them down each one week by week to give some tacticals. So in the last episode, we talked all about sleep. So if you haven't had an opportunity to listen to that, please go back and listen. Not now, of course, but after you've listened to this one. We gave my top 10 tips for helping you as an autism mom with sleep. So today we are going to actually dive in and talk about nutrition, the intentional need called nutrition. Remember, we have 4 intentional needs: that's sleep, nutrition, movement, and mindset. So today is all about nutrition. So that topic is actually the first thing I started with when I was looking into my nutritional needs. However, I didn't have a title for that. Nutrition is something that has always been really important to me in my personal lifestyle, because I've always strived to live a really healthy and holistic lifestyle. And this goes back many, many years. However, it wasn't until I became an autism mom that I needed to be really, really strategic, because as an autism mom, you probably know that my time is not what I would consider to be a commodity that is a lot of. It's often taken over. Sometimes it seems like by my children, by our needs, by different hats that I wear. And that's okay, but I think it's important to just know what you're dealing with, and then also to help yourself be successful, setting up those strategies and systems. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So our one big idea is that nutrition, let it be easy and joy-filled. So, like I said in the beginning, nutrition is either one of those things that people get really excited about. They're a foodie, or they really love cooking or preparing or hosting, or it's something that can be really challenging for people because they're not sure where to start. What exactly does it mean when you're on a healthy living journey? All of that. And so today I just have a few tips that can be really helpful. So one of the biggest things I think is really important is that if you're looking at the idea of getting started in nutrition and making healthy choices and thinking ahead of time before you get to the table, then one of the things is meal prep. Meal prep is really, really important. And it all starts with kind of thinking about what exactly the ingredients you're wanting to use. So for me personally, I am a vegan, so I know when I am in my household, the things that I'm going to be using, I'm going to be using lots of chickpeas, lots of red lentils. I'm going to be using some mung beans to make some breakfast vegan eggs. I'm going to be using the red lentils to make some grain-free waffles. I like to be really high in protein and high in fiber and really super low in sugar. And so those are the kind of things that are super important to me. However, like I said, everyone is different, and you need to know, what you're dealing with and what your daily needs are for you and your family. So one of the things that can be really helpful when you're wanting to meal prep, you want to think about what are the kinds of ingredients that you use the most often. So if I'm going to think about myself, I know that one of my sons, my youngest one, loves oatmeal. So that's something I can kind of do ahead of time and have that in my reusable container in the fridge. Another thing, we also like to make a tofu. I make a mung bean tofu or a red lentil tofu, and what's really awesome about that is you can prep that ahead of time. I can have that in the fridge. I can chop up veggies, onion, garlic, carrots, bell peppers. I can have all of those things already chopped up, ready to go. If you are a meat eater, you can prep like maybe a couple of your proteins per week. Let's say you would like some chicken and some lamb. You can already go ahead and cook your ground lamb and have that in a little container. Maybe you want to use your chicken in some stir fries. You can prepare it, either actually cook it and then have it in a container, or you can just kind of chop it up and season it to make it easy for you. So when you are ready to do that. Same thing with your veggies. What kind of veggies do you like to have throughout the week? Is it onion? Is it garlic? Or do you like carrots? Do you like celery? Do you like okra? What kind of veggies do you like? Prep it to make it easier for yourself. It's one less step that you have to think about during the day. So prepping proteins, veggies, grains, all of those can make life so much easier. Snacks, if you like to have some homemade cookies or protein balls or whatever you like, that can be really easy, to-go buttons and healthy. Think about how you want to do that. Now, tip number 2 is meal plan. So obviously, meal planning probably is going to come first before you actually prep, because then you have an idea of what you're actually prepping, what you're actually needing going according to your meal plan. Now, I sometimes, depending on how busy the weeks are, sometimes I will just meal plan just for the next 3 days, depending on what's going on, or the actual week. I personally don't meal plan the entire month or for several weeks at a time, unless it's my standby meal plan. I have a month one, but what it's like is that all on Mondays we have this item, or all on Tuesdays we have these meals. So it's kind of like that. Again, everyone is different, but I have a standby one, if I can't think of what I want to have, or it's just so super busy that week. I like to be able to have an idea of what exactly we're doing every day, and that is one thing that's really helpful. Tip number 3, grocery shopping. Plan a time every week on when you're going to go grocery shop, if that is available to you. If you don't know an ample amount of time, just create a system of what happens before grocery shopping and what happens after, so that you can get yourself in some kind of routine that can be really helpful to know that at this time on this day we're going. Even if it's different every week, it gives you a little bit of heads up in space in your mind and in your environment on this is what we're going to do next. And it can be really helpful if you're taking your children with you, or if you yourself are going by yourself, then you just know what's about to happen and how to prepare and how to move on from that. I remember years ago how, and it can be still challenging, because my oldest kiddo, he was an eloper and still is to some extent, but we have gotten a lot better with that particular situation. And when we would go grocery shopping, it could be incredibly challenging because I needed to make sure he's taken care of. Is he in a cart? How does that all work? Now that he is a teenager and he is taller than me, then I have to be a little bit more creative. I do a lot of online shopping, and I suggest even penciling that into your schedule, even if it's online shopping versus in-person grocery shopping. It's still all grocery shopping, and I have found that it's really helpful to have some time set aside to think and process about what it is I'm wanting to purchase for that week or that month. It's really helpful even nowadays because prices have gone up so much when it comes to buying food. It's really important to know what it is you're wanting to get and how you're wanting to do that, especially if you are preparing meals not just for yourself, but for little ones and a husband as well, or even extended family. But I think it's really important to make sure that you are getting the food that you need to get, because a lot of times our kiddos and our partners are already set in what it is that they know that they want and what you're wanting to feed them. And sometimes for mamas, especially autism moms, it's really easy for us to put our needs on the back burner. So I think that it's really important to make sure that you know what you're having for your week when it comes to meal prep, meal planning, and grocery shopping, and how you're going to make that happen. Tip number 4, think about what are your top 5 favorite meals. And then you want to learn how to make your favorite meals in a really healthy way. To be quite honest, if you go on YouTube, no matter what it is that is your favorites, whether it's burgers or pizza or tiramisu, there are ways of making that really healthy by just swapping out a couple of ingredients. It can be really, really helpful. I know for myself, growing up, I personally have a lot of allergies. So for me, I have had allergies for years with eggs, soy, corn, gluten, what else? So many. So for me, for years, before it was easy peasy to go to the store and to be able to find all of these different ingredients, I had to learn how to substitute. And over the years, when I first started out, it was really challenging. Although YouTube now makes things pretty simple for people, but it took a little while for me to figure all of that out. And then I was able to have some staples on what it is I know that works really, really well for substitutes. So, of course, if you are a person that has any, special considerations when it comes to ingredients because of allergies, that's something you want to think ahead about too, especially as you are thinking about how to upgrade your nutrition profile and making food that's really, really nutrient dense and tasty for yourself. Those are things you want to think about. I always suggest just starting out with your 5 favorite meals and then work from there, because if they're your favorites, you can have them on a continual rotation. And it can be something that you can kind of just whip together, especially if you are going ahead and prepping all of those ingredients. So let's move on to tip number 5. We want to think about what our what are our favorite snacks and desserts? That is something that can be really, really helpful. Me personally, I am not a big snack person. However, a couple times a month, I do like to have some specific desserts on rotation, but they, again, are very, very healthy. I like these protein bites that I can whip up in just minutes. I also like to have some kind of frozen treats. Now, I'm dairy free, so I don't have ice cream, but and of course, I've mentioned before, I'm also really low sugar. But what I like to have is I will take like some frozen blueberries, some wild blueberries, or some organic strawberries and cherries or raspberries. And I'll take those and add some unsweetened coconut shreds on top, a little bit of stevia, and a little bit of almond flour, blanched almonds. Sometimes you can add a little bit of olive oil for the consistency. Or if you leave your berries out till they're not as frozen, you can use like some coconut oil and you whip that all together and it makes like this really yummy frozen treat. So that's something that I like to do a few times a month. But and having that, because as you can hear, it's super simple. Just having a couple of ideas when it comes to your snacks and your desserts. You can prep those, or if it's simple like mine, you can make it as long as you have the ingredients right there on hand in like 2 to 5 minutes. Okay, so number 6, and I kind of mentioned this before, you want to think ahead and plan. It's so important to not do it right in that second or in that moment. And especially for us autism moms, because sometimes there's so many things that can happen that can make variabilities when it comes to our days or some inconsistencies, especially when our kiddos are little. Sometimes they're having a hard day, or maybe they're having an okay day, but it's just super busy. It's just really helpful to be able to think ahead and then have that plan in mind. And I have found that it also lessens stress because you already know what you're going to do. Number 7, we want to finish. Now, those first 5 were all about the actual food planning and prepping and shopping and preparing, all of that. These next 5 tips are all about how to support that. So number 6 was think ahead and plan. Number 7, we want to finish our last meal of the day 3 hours before we go to bed. This is helpful for digestion. This is helpful even for being able to sleep well, especially when we talked last week all about sleep. We want to make sure that if you want to be in bed by 8:30, your last meal has been completed by 5:30, okay? It's really helpful and important. I suggest you try this out. You know, there's a lot of research out right now by doctors that are really wanting to help people to bring them to their best health. Like before, I've mentioned Dr. Mindy Peltz. She is the one who wrote the book, Fast Like a Girl and Eat Like a Girl. There's a few more, like, I can't remember the doctor, Dr. Casey, she wrote Good Energy. It's all about helping to get the energy to your body so you are, as you were created to do the things you need to do. And that has to do with our 4 intentional needs. Dr. William Davis, I believe he wrote Wheat Belly and Super Gut. And it's all about food and how when you are giving your body what it needs, it's able to support you in a really beautiful way. And he talks a lot about probiotics and how not all probiotics are created equal. And I have mentioned that before too. And you can check out a little bit if you're wanting some health coaching, if you are wanting to shop on my online shop to find out the ingredient policies of different things that I have. I have prebiotics, probiotics, and enzymes on there, as well as different protein powders, as well as some other nutritional supplements that can really support you. So you can just email me and I can send all of that information over to you. So that is really important. And then I think that's number 8 we are on. Research intermittent fasting, specifically for women. How a person would fast in their 20s is different how they fast in their 40s. When you are in your 40s, that is the perimenopausal age. It is anywhere from what the latest research is saying from on average, age 35 to 52 here, especially in America. And so intermittent fasting can be really, really helpful. I believe I have an episode several weeks ago all about that. I have found it to be really helpful for myself. However, when you are looking into intermittent fasting, you need to be able to be aware of the stage that you're in. If you're in your 40s, it's going to look different than if you're in your 20s. And then also, you need to be able to focus on what it is your specific needs are. How is your health? Are you doing it to help you with a health position, or are you doing it for longevity? Like just different things. You need to think about those. And like I always gear people towards Mindy Pelt's Fast Like a Girl. She also has a YouTube channel and gives lots of really amazing information, because how you fast does matter, and it can be different depending on what you have going on in your life as well. Okay, number 9, I want to mention a few calming foods, okay? So calming foods that are really high in omega-3s, that helps with focus, that helps with your mind, that helps you having some calm thoughts, can be flax seeds, whole flax seeds, grinding them down as soon as you're ready to use them. Chia seeds, you can make like a really yummy chia seed pudding, adding a few berries or so. Those are really helpful. If you eat meat, then you can eat like salmon, different kinds of fish. Sometimes we'll have, depending on the kind, we'll have omega-3s. Another thing that's really helpful when it comes to calming foods can be foods that are high in vitamin C, like berries, because they are low in sugar. Oranges are really high in vitamin C. I also have a powder that I put in my green drinks called Camu Camu. It is a fruit powder. It's 100% fruit. It doesn't have any sugar in it. That's really helpful. And now we want to talk about like some cleansing foods. There are cleansing foods and building foods and calming foods. The ones I'm going to mention are cleansing and building. So that would be like your cruciferous vegetables like kale, cauliflower, broccoli, spinach, green tea, matcha. Those are also cleansing. Berries again are also cleansing. That can be really helpful. I personally, because of the age that I am in, I have found my body to do best with limiting grains. It also helps keeping stable blood sugar. And so I have found that to be really helpful for myself. So you want to think about, the stage of life that you're in. What are your personal needs, okay, when it comes to these different kinds of foods? There's so many different kinds, and we can get so many amazing vegetables from them. Making sure that you are having, again, the building foods can be certain grains, and can also be beans and lentils, as well as whole pasture-raised eggs if your body is okay with that. Also, making sure that your foods are whole foods that are really nourishing and nutrient dense for yourself. Also, grass-fed beef or lamb can be helpful as well. Pasture-raised chicken, turkey, those kinds of things. And then, of course, if you do choose to eat fish, that would make sure it's all wild caught, no farm raised fish. So these can be really helpful. And there's a few things you want to think about, especially when you are grocery shopping, meal planning, and meal prepping. So I hope that this particular episode has been really helpful for you and you've learned a few things. Of course, if you are wanting more support, I am always there to help you. If you're looking for someone when it comes to health coaching or life coaching, please go ahead and look in the description box. I have my email in there. And I look forward to offering you another episode next time. And I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to my mom's podcast.
Don't forget to follow and leave a review.
It is so important. The reason why is because that's really the only way that other autism moms know of this podcast and are able to receive from this amazing information. So thank you so much. Don't forget to like and leave a review and share with all your friends and download. Bye.
Thank you so very much for listening in. If you have learned something new today or have been blessed by this show in any way, please share it with a friend. And don't forget to head over to iTunes and leave a 5-star review. And feel free to take a screenshot and tag me on Instagram, and I will tag you back. Thank you and be well.